Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Okay, this is your English teacher, Miss Shafiekah. Okay, for this week, as you watch the video, you know that we're not going to have the class on real time. So, but rather this week we're going to have a class via video recording. Yeah, so you will do your own self study, all right, your own self learning, guided through this video. Okay, so I hope everybody is doing well. Okay, so are you ready? Those of you who have the textbook ready, you can open your textbook page 22. This week we're going to continue with Unit 2. All right, so last week we have discussed about stories, right? A bad day at work where the river guide was almost eaten by the hippo, and then the second story that we read, the lucky escape, about the about someone who fell down, okay, and was rescued after how many days? Hold on, I was 24 days. He was rescued after 24 days. So that's the second story about lucky escape. And the third story that we read last week was about hawks or fake stories. So we read three different hoaxes. We have the blue watermelon. We have the parents who said their son was in the balloon, okay, just because they wanted to have a reality TV show. And then the third one is the built down man, the skull, okay, which has been the longest hoaxes believed in human history. And then last week also we did learn about common adverbs. Okay, common adverbs. Common adverbs to tell us um, how one's feeling. All right, someone's feeling or opinion. Okay, through the use of common adverb. So this week we're going to continue with Unit 2, 2.4. Yeah, if you have the textbook, open your book, page 22. So again, this is also we're going to talk about another story, okay? Because the main title for Unit 2 is What a Story. Okay, so in this section 2.4, we're going to focus on speaking and also writing. Our goal is to engage a listener and also on showing interest. Okay, all right. So first, we're going to take a look at speaking and listening, where someone is showing interest. Okay, before we talk about showing interest, let's take a look at this exercise first. Yeah, exercise 1A. So here we have few pictures. Okay, we have a carrot, ring, kitchen floor, baking powder. Okay, we have vegetable garden. We have carrot again here, and then we have a diary. Okay, and Sweden. Okay, so now what I want you to do, all right, I want you, by looking at this picture, okay, looking at this picture, I want you to guess what exactly is happening, all right, in the story that we're going to discuss, that we're going to read, or not read, but listen to. Okay, so I give you roughly about 2 minutes, so you can write it down. Okay, about your ideas. Okay, on a piece of paper in your notebook, so you can write it down. What do you think is happening? Right. So you can use these pictures to help you to figure out what exactly is happening, right? So is it someone slip on the kitchen floor while eating carrot, okay, or someone, and then they write it down? So So whatever that comes to your mind, all right, so you write it down. So I give you 2 minutes. While you're doing that, you can pause the video, all right? Because I won't be waiting for 2 minutes. So um, you can pause the video, all right, before we move on and discuss about your answers. Okay. Have you finished? Have you finished? All right. If you have finished, okay, so let's take a look what exactly is happening. So we're going to listen to an audio right now. So while listening to the audio, I want you to compare, right? I want you to compare to the story, um, to the guesses or ideas that you have written down in your notebook. Okay. I'm going to play the video, the sound here, but you probably couldn't hear. So what I want you to do is for you to download these 2 audios from Smart V3. All right. So the first audio that we're going to listen to is the 2.6. So please download the video. All right. And listen to it while you are comparing about what is happening in this picture. Okay. Okay. So have you listened to the audio? Okay. So how similar it is to your story? How similar it is to your story? Okay. So what exactly happening here? Okay. So basically, um, there are 2 persons, A and B. All right. So they were conversing. All right. So they were having conversation about. So person A was telling about what she heard. All right. About this incredible story. How a married woman lost her wedding ring while she was baking in the kitchen. Okay. So it happened in 1995, and then after that, um, she found her wedding ring after 10 years, okay, in the vegetable garden. So who's wearing or what is wearing the wedding ring? The carrot. Yeah. So that exactly what is happening in the picture, in the story. Yeah. So it's an incredible story how she lost the ring but end up the carrot wearing the ring. So how did it happen? It's miracle. Okay, but I think it's miracle that she found her wedding ring back. Okay. Um. Okay. So anyway. How similar to your story? Is it similar? If all of you got it almost correct, that's very good. Okay. Um, all right. So while you were listening to the audio just now, all right, or you can repeat the audio again, yeah? 2.6. While you were listening to the audio just now, can you notice the way the intonation used by both speakers, right? A and B. So the way the speakers, especially speaker A, all right, when she wanted to tell the story, the way she used intonation sounds excited intonation. This is to engage the listener, yeah, to engage the listener. I mean, to attract the listener, the speaker B, to listen to her story. And then you see the speaker A, the speaker B show her interest, okay, by using these phrases, but also um, interest intonation, yeah, in interest intonation. For example, you can listen to the story again, yeah, to listen the exact intonation that were used by both speaker A to engage the listener and speaker B to show interest when listening to speaker A. All right, so this is my version, yeah, this is my version. So the speaker A said, I heard this incredible story about. So you can sense the excitement in her story. You can sense the excitement as she wants to tell the story. I heard this incredible story, right? So she stresses on the incredibly, okay, the incredible story. And then she also said, someone told me, and you're not going to be believe this. You're not going to believe this. Okay. So that's how you can engage the listener. Sorry, the intonation that I used may not similar to the one that in the audio. So you can listen to the audio to have the exact intonation that I used by speaker A. Yeah. So usually when our friend is telling a story to us, of course we want to show interest, isn't it? Because when, especially if let's say in a situation where you want to tell a story and your friend happen not to be interested to you and not listening, so you don't have the excitement anymore to tell the story, isn't it? So that's why when you want to tell the story, of course you want to engage the listener to listen to you, your friend to listen to you, and you as a listener, all right, so that so that your friend who wants to tell you the story tell you the story, right? So you have to show interest. So how to show interest? So these are some of phrases that I used in the audio 2.6 in the in the story that we listened just now. Yeah. So again, you can listen to the audio 2.6 to really listen how speaker B showing her interest to speaker A. For example, she was like, "Really? How's amazing? That's surprising." Okay, you can see, you can notice the tone, right? The intonation. As if you say really, really, as opposed to really, really. So you can have the high and low tone if you want to show interest. Really, really. So your high and low. Instead of, as opposed when you said really, a flat tone. So even though you said really, but you can hear from the tone that your friend is not really interested in your story, isn't it? So that's why it's very important when you show an interest, if you want to show an interest, you have to have that intonation. Yeah. How's amazing? That's surprising. That's awful. That's incredible. What? You mean, what? You mean, you know, no way. You're joking, right? So as we want to respond to our friends when they are telling stories, of course we need to um, have this. kind of intonation. So of course, I think it's also natural when we are listening to our friends and we are interested, we invested in the story that they are telling us. So this is some sort of the intonation come naturally to us, isn't it? So again, the one that I did just now was my own version of showing interest. It may come out like that, okay? But if you want to know how the exact intonation, you can listen to the audio 2.6 again. Yeah. So this is language for speaking. When we are telling story, of course we want the person to listen. So that's how we engage the listener. So how we engage, not only by using phrases, but also with intonation. Yeah. And as a listener, all right, someone who listens to the story, you have to show interest. Okay, not only if you talk to your friends face to face, okay, you can see from the face. But if let's say you are listening through the phone, right, your friends cannot see your face, whether you're interested or not. So how to show interest is through intonation. So these just an example. These are some examples of phrases that you can use to show interest. But again, when you show interest, not only the phrases play important role, but also your intonation. Yeah, like really, really, as opposed to really. Okay, so that for language for speaking, engaging listener and showing interest. Okay, now I want you to listen to audio 2.7. So you go back to Smart V3, all right, and you download the audio 2.7. So I want you to listen to the audio 2.7, which showing interest. So as you are listening to that, I want you to repeat. I want you to repeat, okay, each of the phrases with the intonation, with the same intonation that you listen through the audio. Can you do that? All right, so let's do it together. Uh, I'm going to play the audio, but I don't think you will listen. You can um, listen to the audio, yeah? So make sure you go and download audio 2.7 on Smart V3. What happened? Can you hear that? What happened? Okay, what happened? Some like you were asking, but in a very interested way. Like you really wanted to know what exactly is happening. What happened? Okay. Next phrases. Oh no, that's awful. Oh no, that's awful. That you're joking. All right, so that's the way the Brits said it. All right, you're joking, but you see, right? There's intonation there. Okay. Again, listen. What? You mean the ring was on the carrot? Okay, so that is my version. But what is important is that you have that intonation where you show interest. Number five, really. So that's easy. No way. That's incredible. Okay. So again, I want you to listen. okay, to audio 2.7 and repeat those phrases on how to show interest. Okay, next we are moving on to reading and writing a, a narrative. Okay, so last week I also mentioned about a narrative, right? Do you still remember what is the meaning of narrative? Good. So narrative, again, narrative is a story that is told by narrator or storyteller. Okay. So I want you to do this. All right. So we have seven here, seven boxes. So I want you to put the sections in the right order to make a logical story. So we have the first one given. So this is the first one. So you have to find the continuation of the story. Okay. So I give you 3 minutes to do that. Okay. 3 minutes to do that, to put the right order of sequence to make a logical story. Have you finished? Have you finished? If you haven't finished, you can just pause the video and continue. Yeah. If you have finished, so we're going to discuss, okay, the correct order, the sequence for the story. All right. The first one is E. A few years ago, a taxi driver called Barry Backshaw had a life changing experience when he went to work one day. Okay. So what is the second one? What is the continuation of the story? D. Sorry. F, yeah. The second one is F, right? F. Um, this one. So it seemed like any other day. Barry picked up a man and his girlfriend from a hotel in the seaside town where he lived. So this is the second one. What about the third one? What is the third one? The third one is B, boy. B, boy, yeah. After a while, the woman happened to notice Barry's identity card hanging up in the cab. Isn't it that funny? She said to her boyfriend. You've got the same name as the taxi driver. Okay, so what's happened next? That's right. It's C. Yeah, it's C. The man then said jokingly, is your first name Barry? In an instant, the taxi driver's mouth went dry. He waited until they were somewhere safe to park, pulled the car over, and said yes. The taxi driver had realized that the man in the back of his cab was his son, who he had not seen for 34 years. So, what's next? That's right, it's A. Yeah, A. As soon as he told his son, they hugged each other and went for a coffee to talk. Barry had lost contact with his family while he was working abroad. Then, yes, the next is G. G, yeah, G. By an amazing coincidence, it turned out that his son, Colin, who had been living in South Africa, had recently arrived to take up a new job in the same small town where his father lived. So the ending is D, donkey. Colin said, I did not recognize him at all, but it is great to have my dad back. So those are the correct sequence of the story. So we have E followed by F and then B, C, A, G, and D. So did all of you got it? Did all of you get it correct? So congratulations to everyone if you managed to got the right answer. Okay, so let's continue. So now we are moving on to language for writing. Okay, so today we're going to learn about time expression. So when we tell a story, it is very important to say when events happen and how quickly they happen. So in order to tell that, we use time expression. Okay. So you see here, there are a variety of time expression. For example, after a while, in the end, in an instant, just then, a few years or months or weeks or days or hours ago, recently, and last one, straight away. So these are some of examples of time expression. So why we use time expression, especially when we in writing or um, when we tell story, because it is important to say when the event happened and how quickly they happen. All right. To check your understanding, I want you to complete the second sentence so that it has similar meaning to the first, using a time expression from the language writing for for this one. Okay. So there's one expression, you do, you don't need. Okay. So we have 6 here and we have 7 here, right? So there's one from this time expression that is not needed in this. So again, you can just refer to the previous slide, okay, to find the correct answer. So I give you 2 minutes to answer this one to complete the second sentence using time expression. Okay, have you finished? If you haven't, so you can just pause the video and continue answer. If you have finished, so let's discuss. Okay? Okay. Sorry, yeah. The first one, as soon as he heard the news, he rang her. So, when he heard the news, he rang her straight away. He rang her straight away. Number 2, not long ago, he had changed his job. So, he had changed his job recently. Recently. Yeah. After that moment, the car suddenly stopped. Just then, the car suddenly stopped. Just then, the car suddenly stopped. Number 4, finally, he went back to Australia. So the answer, in the end, he went back to Australia. In the end, he went back to Australia. Number 5, within seconds, everything had changed. So, number 5, in an instant, everything had changed. Number 6, a short time later, he picked up his bag and left. So the correct answer is, after a while, he picked up his bag and left. So the one that we have not used, this one. Okay, this one. So did you all get it correct? So if you get it correct, congratulations. If not, it's okay. You can always improve next time. All right. Next, we're going to go for video. All right. So I couldn't upload the video here, and even if I play the video, you couldn't hear the the sound of it. Yeah. So I have uploaded the link also on Smart V3. So you can either watch the video via Smart V3 or you can just click this link. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to watch this short video. All right. And I want you to write down. Okay. I want you to write down the 7 types of plot or 7 good stories that is mentioned in the video. Yeah. That is mentioned in the video. So I'm not going to play the video, yeah, because you wouldn't hear the sound anyway. So you click the link and play the video. Okay. So have you watched the video? What are the 7 good stories mentioned in the video? The first one is monster plot. The first one is monster plot, where an enemy threatens a community until it is defeated by a local hero. Okay, example given Dracula and Josh. This is where when there's a monster or enemy, and then the enemy was defeated. And then the second one, riches story to a poor character. Rags to riches. This is when you get something and loses something, and then you learn a life lesson. So one of the famous example for this is Cinderella. Okay, Cinderella. And then the third one we have tragedies. Tragedies. Okay. Um. Then the fourth one we have rebirth. Rebirth. Okay. Rebirth story. Where, for example, in the beginning of the story, the main character is a bad person, but at the end of the story, the main character has turned into a good person. So it's like sort of like a rebirth. Okay. And then next one is quest. Quest meaning journey, a journey. This is where a main character goes on a journey in order to find something or get somewhere. All right, a journey. And then next would be voyage and return. This is also similar to the quest. Um, but the hero often returns with nothing but experience. For example, The Wizard of Oz, if you have watched the movie, yeah. And then the last one would be comedy. Comedy, yeah, comedy. Comedy is also if you watch the video, the narrator also said comedy is really a love story. So basically, it's most comedy. They also include a love story. So there you go. You have your seven good stories mentioned in the video. So this is the seven basic plots. We have the quest, overcoming the monster, wreck to riches. We have rebirth, voyage, comedy, and tragedy. So these are seven basic plots. Okay. All right. So we are coming to the end of the class. Okay. So to complete this week online learning, each of you is required to answer two quizzes on Smart V3. Okay, the due date is at November. So if you fail to do the quiz, you will consider absent from this week class. So how I consider you attending the class for this week, because we have no real time class, isn't it? So number one, I'm going to see, I'm going to monitor how many of you watched the video, the lecture video on YouTube. Okay. And then the second one, the seven plot videos. And then the third one is the quiz. Okay. So each of you have to fulfill those three things in order to complete your self study for this week. You have to watch the online lecture, this one, and then you have to watch the seven plots of videos, and then you have to answer two quizzes on Smart V3. Okay, so that's the end for this week class. Okay, I'm going to see you next week. Next week, I'm going to explain to you about your first assessment, which is the movie review, and also the myline assessment. Yeah, the myline assessment, and also the movie review. So if you have any question, you can just ask through WhatsApp group. Yeah. So that's the end of the class this week. So thank you so much. I hope that you understand all the lesson for this week, and I will see you next week. So please take care of yourself, stay indoor, stay safe until I see you next week. All right. So everybody, thank you so much. Bye bye.